potty train a small dog?
It's a good question, and potty training is one of the questions that we get quite a bit of. The process that we use for potty training doesn't really consider the size of the dog. I think a lot of times when we think about potty training problems, we're instantly looking for a quick solution. But the solution to potty training is the formation of a habit. So when you're trying to form a habit, it's not necessarily the easiest thing because we ourselves, we have to be pretty diligent at actually leading the dog to be able to form the habit that we want. So small dogs are difficult. And I think one of the more common mistakes that people make, and this is with any breed, but with small dog in particular, is that we leave a lot of water out for them. And I'm seeing that a lot with small dogs right now in the families that we're visiting, that they're constantly leaving water out. And it's not necessarily your fault because everything that you hear from your veterinarian and everything that you hear, that you read and see on the back of the labels of the dog food is always have fresh water available for your dog. Well, the fact of the matter is if I sat here and I drank all this water and I went back and filled it up with the pitcher for the duration of the show, I'm gonna have to use the restroom quite a bit. And I'm not necessarily need to be inundated with water. So when you're thinking about your small dog, be real careful about leaving a lot of water out for them. It's okay for them to get a little thirsty. We're not talking about dehydration, but a little bit of thirst can help you to be able to manage it. So just to kind of walk everybody through the process again that I use, so we use our dog's food to train them, and then I give them water after they're done training. So they've had their food and water, and then I crate dogs. And I like to crate a dog in something that's about the size of their body, okay? Now, here's where it can begin to get complicated because people sometimes put their puppies inside the crate and then the puppies are making a lot of noise and it's hard for the puppy to become calm in there. So there's a training issue, but let's just say that that's not your dog. Let's just say that your dog goes into the crate, is nice and quiet because you just finished training. 20 to 30 minutes later is about the time that you want to take them out. I encourage you to listen to your dog. If it's not the whiny kind of dog, listen to your dog when they're in the crate and see how they do make noises, because your dog will vocalize in a way that tells you that it's time to pee, and it will be different than the vocalization that means they just want to come out and bite at your legs again. So listen for that, but you're going to have to pick that out over several days. So your small dog got its food and water, went into the crate. 20 to 30 minutes later, you go outside. And then what I like to do, I'm like super organized with this kind of thing. I take my watch and I'll set a timer for 3 minutes. I set that timer for 3 minutes. If the dog uses the restroom, then I really, really reward that dog with something that it really enjoys. Doesn't have to be food. It could be a game. And then if they don't use the restroom, here is another place people make mistakes. The dog won't use the restroom, and then they'll say, oh, I got a bunch of stuff to do. They'll go back in and they'll leave the dog loose. And that will really derail your program really fast. If I give the dog 3 to 5 minutes outside to use the restroom, like 3 to 5 minutes is not a short amount of time. That's plenty of time for a dog to use the restroom. If they don't use the restroom, I have to make it their problem so they can learn. And I put them back into the crate. I put those dogs back into the crate so that way they can understand that, hey, you're gonna have to hold it. And then I go through the process of making them hold it again for another 20 minutes or so, and then back from there. So, the potty training for the dogs, it's pretty much the same for any kind of breed, but small breed dogs, just make sure you're not leaving that water out, and make sure you're not giving them freedom when they choose not to use the restroom in places that they don't want to go.